Hey guys, so originally I wasn't going to make this video until tomorrow because I am so tired right now. All the conferences started at 2 a.m. and it is now 2 p.m. and I had, I think, about 2 hours sleep. I want to make a full, face video, whatever the hell type of videos I usually make tomorrow, but I just thought I'd go through some stuff now just because, this conference just happened and get my mind off, everything that happened so far. So let's go through the Sony E3 press conference, which was really interesting. That's how I'm going to describe it. It started off really strong and then it dipped in the middle to go not that good and then ended really strong again. They really needed to fix up how that everything ran then because, I don't know, it really, even that the ending, they finish off with Batman and Uncharted, which are massive, and I'm so excited for those games. But the fact that middle bit just dragged me fully out of the experience, you didn't have that same emotion. I left and got snacks when stuff was happening in the Sony conference. I didn't even leave in the Microsoft conference. I don't even own an Xbox. So, I don't know. They kind of stuffed up there. So let's go through some of the very, very big announcements. Probably the biggest is that they confirmed, they actually showed a trailer for Uncharted, which is a new one. So it's Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, which obviously, that sounds like the end of Nathan Drake as a game. He looks a lot older, in my opinion, and the game was so freaking pretty. I was really impressed with how well that game looked. But I mean, it's Naughty Dog, so what do you kind of expect, really? So yeah, that was kind of my highlight for the conference, but some really good things happening. So they started off with Destiny. We know that Sony and Bungie have this really good relationship now, which was obviously opposite pre-Destiny. But this is, pretty cool. I mean, I'm excited for that game, and I'm glad they opened with it. It's a good opener, I thought, especially because it's a massive multi-plat game. Yeah, and they announced the white PlayStation 4. That's kind of cool as well. Then there was the Order 1886 gameplay. Now, I'm really excited for the Order 1886. It's one of my most anticipated games. They showed off some of the half-breeds, which are part zombie, half werewolf kind of thing, which is pretty cool. And yeah, third-person action game. There was a game called Entwined, which was quite interesting because it is now available on the PlayStation Network. Though there's a bird and a fish and they're in love, which is what? But yeah, I think I'm gonna check that game out. I have assignments and an exam in a couple of days, so this is why doing these videos are quite hard. But I will see how much I can do and how much I can cover during the rest of this stuff. Another massive heavy hitter for Sony that we didn't really expect was Little Big Planet 3. Now, it's not developed by Media Molecule, and it had some cool little critters there was one called Odd Sock, I can't remember what the others were called, but that is such a fun game just for, co-op, play with my sister, play with my little 3-year-old sister. She can play that game probably now. And it's really good, for a family game, which I think PlayStation 4 still needs. One of the games that leaked kind of earlier, which is Bloodborne. This is what is Project Beast, which is from Software, and it is a PlayStation exclusive, from the Dark Souls, Demon Souls creators, which is such a big deal for Sony and their platform. I was really impressed by that they managed to secure that. Obviously, they had the license for Demon Souls before that. I've made a video on Project Beast before, but this is such a big deal for Sony, I reckon. Then Far Cry 4, what I found so amazing with that was that you could play co-op with your friend not even owning the game. I'm going to try to get my younger sister to get a PlayStation 4 as well, and then we can play co-op without only buying it once. That would be awesome. Those elephants also attacked. That was sick. They had a lot of indie titles. A lot of them were coming to the Vita, which I am happy with. The Vita didn't get any, big announced games, which is really sad. I mean, we still have Gamescom. We still have TGS in the future where some other big games like Gravity Rush 2 or something they can show in more detail, but the fact that they didn't is quite sad. Unless they're going to cover it another day during the conferences or something. Infamous DLC, which I guessed in my predictions video, by the way. So, yes. You play as Fetch, which I'm really happy. Female protagonists, I'm always happy to play as a female protagonist, so That is really good. And as I said, it's a standalone game, so you don't need to own Infamous Second Son. And it's a really good business move as well, in my opinion. There was a game called Abzu, which was by some of the Journey creators. And you can really tell with how that game is. Journey's one of my favorite games on the PlayStation 3. So I am really pumped up for that game. And one of the games which was such a highlight for a lot of people, I don't like space as much, so it's not as much of a highlight for me, but No Man's Sky, that the way that world is created and how there's such a tiny indie studio. I remember watching, I think when that game was announced, the developer was like, he said something ridiculous like, I have to sell my house to develop this game. And I was like, oh my god, the guy was so adorable. That game looks really interesting, and it is so ambitious for a tiny indie studio to build that massive thing. And it's like all procedurally generated and all that. I am really impressed by that. And then the conference went downhill, which was kind of really shitty. Talked about, stuff like PlayStation Now, the share button. I mean, some of this stuff was interesting, but it wasn't like Microsoft's conference where they just were like game. They slowed it down in the middle, and that really stopped the momentum building up. Like, I reckon if they took that part out of the whole conference, made all the games sit together and shortened the conference, then it would have been more of a competition of who won E3. But I think Microsoft definitely had a better conference altogether, just because they didn't slow down. The PlayStation TV was announced for $99, which again, I mean, that's pretty cool. Who knows? Maybe this will help Vita development. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you can get it on the hands of more consumers. I still think it's interesting device. I think they had another bundle with it where you got a memory card and stuff, but I can't remember how much that cost. Then they sort of built up a little bit momentum back because they showed an actual game. They showed some Mortal Kombat. I don't really care that much about that game. It's always good to see some more fighting games. And then they dropped it down even further. They started talking about some dumb TV or movie show. To be honest, I just tuned out and I left and I got food and all that. I was just stupid. There is a time and place to discuss that, and an E3 conference is not one of them. Who is your audience here? That is gamers and gamer press. They don't care if you're making some dumb TV thing. Announce it another time. That's cool. Ratchet and Clank. I mean, I like Ratchet and Clank, but do that another time, bros. Just leave it out. And then the build up to the end of the conference was pretty good from there, except in the Last of Us trailer, they go, caution, this trailer contains spoilers. So if you were in that theater and you had not played The Last of Us, if I was there and I had not played it, I would freak out. That is horrible. You don't show spoilers, especially people that are moving over from the Xbox 360 to a PlayStation 4. Obviously they haven't played it. Obviously this game is targeted sort of towards them because they haven't played that game yet. And the fact that you're showing spoilers in your E3 press conference, what are you doing, Sony? Get with the culture. You don't spoil anyone. That's just it. There was some Metal Gear stuff. I mean, you guys might like this stuff, but I don't really care about it. So, I didn't really tune into that as well. Then there was GTA 5 coming to the PlayStation 4. They announced it at that conference, but it is also coming to Xbox One and the PC. So, bring on the mods. That is definitely going to get some people excited. But yeah, we sort of expected that coming. And then was probably my two favorite parts of the conference starting up. First, we saw Batman Arkham Knight. I absolutely adore the previous Batman games, so seeing this game in action, it looked so slick. I was so impressed. I did not think it was going to look that good, and it did. And I was watching it, from a stream, so you're not even going to see it for reals, that well done. So I'm really impressed. I'm really happy they showed it. The Batmobile looks so fun. I just want to drive around Gotham and just fuck shit up with my Batmobile. So that is going to be awesome. That game was announced for 2015. And then came the big guns. At the end, we got Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, which was, as I said, the prettiest game on the PlayStation 4. Probably the prettiest game I've seen in general. We were expecting that. I'm glad that they did show it because Naughty Dog, as we all know, were having those problems with enemy heading, leaving and stuff like that. So I'm glad that they did show it. What was absent, though, was The Last Guardian. That game. I should just never, ever think of that game again. It is the most mythical thing in the world. It's next to Santa Claus, and it's got the Last Guardian. He's standing right next to him. Is it real? They're like, yeah, sure, it's real. Like, they're talking to us like we're little kids. No, it's been something years, and you can't even announce it. And yeah, that was my opinion. I think Microsoft had a better conference, and I watched the other two conferences as well, which were quite interesting. This is just sort of my wrap up. I want to do a better video tomorrow, but as I said before, I'm so tired and absolutely destroyed, so this is going to be what I'm going to have out for now. So soon, some of my other favorite games were just announced, like the new freaking Tomb Raider. That will be all in some discussions in the later days. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think of E3 in the comments below. If you've bothered to listen to me this far, I have no idea how long this is. I'm just rambling because I am so tired, so I am going to shut up. I hope you guys have a good night, and I'll talk to you after, like, the Nintendo conference or something. That seems like it's going to be interesting. Alright, see you guys.